Well, well, well. Goodyear tire going over like a Led Zeppelin instead of the fun blimp that is always seen overhead of a big sports event or outdoor arena style anything ongoing. You always see the Goodyear blimp overhead. Getting a nice aerial view. May not be anymore, right? You saw a couple years ago they were retiring a few blimps. And now the Goodyear tires are maybe going to just be done because the idiots at one of the branches posted something moronic. Where is this thing? Here it is. So first of all, you had this photo taken and it was posted last night by Mike Cernovich. And this says 0 tolerance. The things that are acceptable, and this is assuming for the Goodyear employees to have on them or wear. So this is what's acceptable. Black Lives Matter, BLM stuff, and then any LGBTQ pride movement stuff. What they said was unacceptable was Blue Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, MAGA attire, anything political. So people obviously were upset with this. You could say there was a field day had. Well, it's been made known now that Goodyear has come out. They say, hey, this was not corporate. This was not something that we sent out. Must have been something local, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. In the meantime, we're definitely not doing anything to discriminate against MAGA or law enforcement. We love all these people, so this is not us. This is something going on locally. We're going to get to the bottom of it. In the meantime, the bottom has already been found by their stock price, but you can see backing out all over. And then just check this out. I know Kermit's always a little bit off. Like he doesn't seem, this is Neil, doesn't ever seem like he is really prepared to say anything. Just watch the intro to this.
All right, I guess Goodyear meant to do well by this, but putting out a sort of a standards proclamation here. But when you read it and you read what is not acceptable versus what is.
What? Did you just hear him? Did you hear him? He sounds like when Donald Trump makes fun of the reporter. Everyone's heard that clip. Check this out again.
All right, I guess Goodyear meant to do well by this, but putting out a sort of a standards proclamation here. But
Anyway,
when you
cut
read
to,
it
this
and
gal.
you
She knows
read,
what she's talking about.
Jackie.
Good afternoon to you, Neil. Well, Goodyear is basically playing defense right now because of the controversy, because of the criticism about a document that supposedly came from the company in one of its diversity training sessions, and it's being labeled as discriminatory. So there's basically a photo going around on social media.
It's not being labeled as discriminatory. It just straight up is discriminatory. Just want to make sure we're not, playing semantics here. Because if you discriminate against MAGA or All Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, or Blue Lives Matter rather, but you allow BLM, you allow LGBTQ, we're getting ridiculous here.
Policy of the company. So on the acceptable side, it lists Black Lives Matter as well as lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender pride. On the unacceptable side, there's Blue Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, MAGA attire, political affiliated slogans, or material. So the gripe from some of the employees and also from others now as this circulates is why are certain forms of expression allowed?
Okay, so maybe it was from corporate, maybe it was from a regional person, maybe it was from just the one branch office, and they said, we're putting our foot down. But there are reasons why companies, big and small, have operations in place so that if you have a cool policy you want to pass on, you need to go get it vetted by everyone, and legal, and everyone else in the company, so that you don't just post random dumb things that drive the stock price down like this.
But others aren't. You could actually argue that Black Lives Matter does assert a political agenda, yet political slogans and MAGA attire specifically are not acceptable. So the president saw this. He took to Twitter, said, don't buy Goodyear tires. They announced a ban on MAGA hats. Get better tires for far less. This is what the radical left Democrats do. Two can play the same game. And
if the Democrats, if the far left, if the extreme violent left, whatever you want to call it, the radical left Democrats, they do the cancellation game. They say, hey, if you do something we don't like, we're going to cancel you. So fine. Goodyear, you want to have a policy we don't like? We're going to use our buying power to pull out your political influence.
We have to start playing it now. Goodyear coming back with its own tweet on this. Yesterday, Goodyear became the focus of a conversation that created some misconceptions about our policies and our company. Goodyear has always wholeheartedly supported both equality and law enforcement and will continue to do so. There was also a statement that said in part, quote, first, the visual...
Hang on a second. Go back. This is the dumbest response ever. You're going to tell me, well, our company became the focus of a conversation that we didn't like. And it really made us look bad because our policies and company really aren't that great. And now it's being talked about. We don't like that. So, Goodyear, we're going to say this as a statement. We've always supported both equality and law enforcement, as if those are two opposing views. Even still, Goodyear can't help but put both feet in their mouth. They're saying, well, we both wholeheartedly support equality and law enforcement, because those are different, but we're going to continue to do that. Give me a break.
That said in part, quote, first, the visual in question was not created or distributed by Goodyear corporate, nor...
If this was really true, don't you think they would lead with that? Wouldn't they say right off the bat, that's not legit, that's not from us, that's not ours? No, instead they're like, there's been a big conversation that we don't like, and we got to find a way out of it. Well, this is the way out of it now, is to say this was rogue. This did not come from something that we like.
Was it part of a diversity training class?
Didn't ask where it came from corporate, if it was an official corporate policy. See, here's how they rig you out of the words. They're going to wriggle out of them. They're going to say first, well, it didn't come from corporate. It was not distributed or created by Goodyear corporate. Well, that's okay. Did you have a third party come up with a set of acceptable and non-acceptable policies or zero tolerances? Maybe. Maybe they didn't have a diversity training class. They just had a memo go out. So they can say it was not distributed by corporate and we did not have a training class. That would lead a normal person just hearing that to think in layman's terms, oh, then maybe it just wasn't them, it wasn't their idea, it's not their official stance. But that's not what they're saying. They're not coming out to say this isn't our official stance. In fact, just the opposite.
To be clear, our
long-standing corporate policy, we have zero tolerance for any forms of harassment. But they're not going to explain, so our current policy then protects people that want to wear these things. It doesn't say that.
In corporate policy, Goodyear has zero tolerance for any forms of harassment or discrimination. So basically what they're saying is, no, we're not allowing harassment or discrimination. Corporate did not put this out. Maybe one of the branch offices went rogue here, but they're also not addressing what was on that slide,
What's on that slide is what we saw it to be. Now, you can say, well, it either came from someone who just created it and took a picture of it. Maybe they don't even work at Goodyear. Maybe this is Discount Tire, who's just trying to put one into the back of Goodyear. We don't know. But it's odd that Goodyear didn't come out and say, that's not legit. They came out and said, hey, we're being the focus of a targeted conversation that, really makes us look bad, guys. And, we don't like that. So our stance now is we've always supported both equality over here and law enforcement over there. Those two equal and opposing things, remember. And, just keep buying our stuff, guys. We didn't do that. We didn't do it. But in the meantime, no full denial that it was actually theirs. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. And then make sure you do everything else that you can do to keep America afloat.